Ronald Wilson Reagan was born on February 6, 1911, in Tampico, Illinois. He studied economics and sociology at Eureka College, also in Illinois. After college, he worked as a sports announcer until 1937, when he was discovered by Hollywood producers. He then proceeded to act in 53 films and married actress Jane Wyman and had 2 children. In 1952, he married Nancy Davis, also an actress, and they also had 2 children. As communism of the Screen Actors Guild, he was front and center in the debate over communism in film, and his political views shifted from liberal to conservative. Soon, he began touring the country promoting conservatism. This led to his election as governor of California in both 1966 and 1970. He then ran as a Republican candidate for president in 1980 alongside George Bush and won. Tragically, Ronald Reagan was shot in the first 100 days of his presidency, but he quickly recovered and resumed his duties as president. He served 2 years as president and died at age 93 after a battle with Alzheimer's. If we look at Reagan's domestic policy, especially in the first term of his presidency, Reagan stressed conservative economic values, and one of his major policies was supply-side economics. In supply-side economics, production is increased and there are less economic barriers. Both these factors drive economic growth. While his trickle-down theory, which went hand-in-hand with this, where the upper class receives tax breaks so they can use this extra disposable income in the economy to create a boom. To put these policies into effect, Reagan put into effect the largest tax break in U.S. history. He also began to shift the national mindset with several changes. First, he increased defense spending by $220 million, which is, therefore, the largest defense budget during peacetime in U.S. history. He also believed in federalism and free market economics, which promoted the private sector of business and not the public sector. In addition, he ended price controls on domestic oil, which led to a drop in the oil prices and gas prices, which greatly increased his popularity. Furthermore, he introduced the Strategic Defense Initiative, or the STI, otherwise known as Star Wars, and reduced education spending. He did not really support any minority rights movements, and he did kind of halt the gay rights movement that was building. And last but certainly not least, Reagan intended to increase nationalist pride, something that many people fondly remember him for today.
Reagan also faced a number of significant foreign policy problems. He negotiated U.S. involvement in Nicaragua as they struggled to overthrow their government. This led to the well-known Iran-Contra scandal, where top Reagan aides sold arms to Iran and funneled the proceeds to Nicaraguan guerrilla fighters, all without Congress's approval. But Reagan is best known for ending the Cold War. Throughout his terms in office, he improved U.S.-Russian relations. The end of the Cold War was symbolized by the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. Months earlier, Reagan gave a speech asking that the wall be torn down. His now iconic speech adds to his nickname as the Great Communicator, who delivered eloquent, charismatic addresses.
This gate is closed. As long as this scar of a wall is permitted to stand, it is not the German question alone that remains open, but the question of freedom for all mankind. In the 1950s, Khrushchev predicted, "We will bury you." But in the West today, we see a free world that has achieved a level of prosperity and well-being unprecedented in all human history. In the communist world, we see failure. There is one sign the Soviets can make that would be unmistakable, that would advance dramatically the cause of freedom and peace. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate.
Reagan is remembered for his conservative ideals, which united many branches of conservatism and shaped the modern Republican Party. He is also known for his vice president, George H.W. Bush, who became the 41st president. Following Reagan's death from Alzheimer's, his wife Nancy founded the pioneering Ronald and Nancy Reagan Research Institute, which studies cures for Alzheimer's.